Hi guys, thank you for coming to my channel. This is Mercury Mind, and today I just wanted to talk about all of the things that I've learned about mushrooms over the years. I literally don't even know where to start with this video. Mushrooms are so much more than meets the eye. If you tap into the knowledge that is here to be received by mushrooms, then you'll understand a fraction of how the world is meant to work and how nature truly coexists with itself. So there's four basic types. You have mushrooms that can heal, mushrooms you can eat, mushrooms that can kill you, and mushrooms that can open your brain up to nature and rewire your brain so that you can adapt. It kind of goes along with Terence McKenna's stoned ape theory, but I think that they are communicating with us in order to adapt to what's happening currently. It's no surprise that mycelium helps plants to communicate with each other. I think it was in Africa, there was this particular animal that was just devouring a certain type of plant to near extinction, and this plant was able to communicate with other plants downwind to let them know, hey, this is what's happening, beware, embrace it, or not embrace it, adapt to what's happening. And they did. They excreted these toxins so that once the animal reached that plant, the plant killed the animal. And this is how nature remains in balance. And mycelium is offering us this chance to tap into that. And it's incredible. There's no surprise to me that fungi produces types of mushrooms that can kill you. This is something that is meant to be respected and demands it from us. They're ancient beings on this planet. They're far older than our species. They were the first things to crawl out of the ocean and establish life on land. Can you imagine the direct source knowledge that they would have, at least in regards to us? They're teaching us. They're so many steps ahead in understanding like what's happening, what's to come. They're aware of what's happening. They're aware of where we're headed. And I believe in my heart of hearts that they're trying to help us. They're trying to communicate with us to say, how can you adapt? And we've separated ourselves so much from that. My boyfriend always says, I think that it's weird that we even have a word for nature because we don't consider ourselves part of it. And we don't. Something I realized very recently is that we have built this structure for ourselves so that we feel the utmost security, the utmost safety at all times. We are meant to do things that make us scared. How else are you going to release that energy? We're, like I said, our ancestors, were used to walking around wondering, am I going to get mauled by a bear? Am I going to survive the winter? Is it too windy to maintain a fire? Like, what do? We lay belly up on a bed in four walls, encoded by brick or encased by brick, in communities, neighborhoods where there is no nature for our own safety. So what do? We get inside of our minds and make up, why is anxiety so prominent? Why is depression so prominent? We have nothing else to worry about. We have no real issues. So we're so stuck inside of our heads making up what all of these little things mean when really all we can do is tap into the greater meaning of what it all means. That's why this is therapy. This is why when you do something and you take a dose and you have like this crazy humbling experience where you just feel so vulnerable is so good for you. You're meant to feel that way. Nature is providing us this open door in order for us to communicate with it because we need it now more than ever. we have this ability to have these incredible downloads. And if you talk to anyone who dabbles with this, especially psilocybin specifically, the downloads that we're getting are always beneficial towards Mother Nature as a whole. It'll open up, it'll lift this veil and this portal of our separation from nature. You will realize that you are one and the same. You'll feel like you melt into the ground. You can see the earth breathing. It brings life. It brings everything alive. And it's like this illusion is lifted of this material world that we have become obsessed with. If you're not in a state of surrender, you're more likely to have a bad trip. I feel if you're not susceptible to moving the energy in your body and understanding like the pain and the limitations that you've caused yourself, and you can't cry or, sob or yell, whatever you have to do, and let that like release out of your body, you're never going to be able to let other things come in. And I feel like a bad trip for a lot of people is this fighting. It's this, no, I want to stay with this person, this sense of security that I've been my whole life. It's intense. And you really, once you step over that veil and you see like the truth of what you are, operating from nothing but love, it's hard to take a step back into your daily routine and the structures that have been implemented to help nothing but material factors. It's scary. It's scary. The state of our world right now is scary. So am I surprised? Am I surprised that something like mushrooms are booming, no pun intended, right now? That more people are connecting with this side of things. But having to stay quiet because you might go to prison for life because, God forbid, you wanted to have answers for yourself. You wanted to think for yourself. You wanted to restructure the way you saw religion. You wanted to restructure the way you see the universe, what your faith means, how you communicate with animals. That's what's so crazy about plants. They don't communicate with words. The type of conscious awareness that we're coming into is allowing us to tap into these type of gifts as well. Things like clairvoyance, things like telepathy, whether you believe it or not. This is like plants have been foreshadowing this for years. This is why they're so ancient. This is why their knowledge is so profound. This is why ancient forests are so important. The amount of mushrooms that we've done research on compared to how many mushrooms are on this earth is like mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. We have just tapped into this. Even medicinal, even edible. We haven't been able to identify like 99% of the mushrooms on this planet. Can you imagine the power like that lies in this fungal network? It's just so crazy to think that there's an intelligence far greater than our own under our feet, communicating everything that is happening. Paul Stamets says it's like a natural internet. And it is a natural internet. And it's wired the same way as a brain. I just think that we should open ourselves up to the idea of being able to communicate with nature and being able to ask for help and receive it. The world is like really magical. And sometimes the most magical parts are kept illegal by structures that want to benefit off of other sides of it. And I really, really in my heart of hearts strongly believe that when you're unafraid to take something like this and you allow your brain to open up to new information, you are jumping in the lines of the revolution that is already taking place. Slow moving, but when they look back on this day and this era of a turn in consciousness, what part are you going to be on? What side are you going to be on? You don't even have to partake in them. But why fight so hard against something? Why fight so hard against nature? Like, what are you really afraid of? And between you and me, there might be something that can help you with that fear. Thanks for watching, guys. I didn't even get to scratch the surface with all of the information there is out there about mushrooms, but I hope you learned something. Or if there's something that you know that I didn't mention, please comment below and let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you again soon. Thank you.